Hi, I'm Brita Fletcher coming to you from my backyard, but also from Ponderosa FFA Floral. And I'm here with my son Jack today, who is taping for me. And I thought that we would put together a quick video for my students who are at home because school has been canceled due to social distancing, but also for any of you at home who might want to give this a try, or you have young kids and you want to try it with them. And so what I'm going to show you how to do today is how to make a greens garland. We've been asked quite a bit lately for garlands, for weddings especially, either to go down the center of a table or to be put on a wedding arch behind the couple or over a doorway. And it's really not a complicated process, it's a labor-intensive process, but we've learned a few things along the way. And so I'll show you what I have going on here. I just have a variety of greens because one of our events was canceled right before school was closed, and so we have those left. But if you can show them here, Jack, this is just baling twine, and if you know anyone who feeds a horse or cattle or sheep or goats or anything that eats hay, they're going to have more of this around than they ever wanted. And we're going to use this as the backbone of our garland. But of course, if you don't have baling twine, you can use any kind of string or wire. The idea is to have something that is your guide as you're going along to attach to, and also something that is flexible enough so that when you're finished, you can put the garland wherever you want it to be. And I'll show you what I have started here so far. So this is a mixed green garland, as you can see, and there's the backbone of that twine. And I work in about 4-foot sections when I do this. And so I had some students earlier this year who, or no, last year I guess, who started with the garlands, and they were really our pioneers in figuring out how to do this, how to make these. And we made an 11-foot garland to go all the way up and over and back down this wedding arch, and it was beautiful when they were finished. It was full and lush and it looked wonderful, and it was very difficult to manage. And so what we learned from that was really to go with shorter pieces, even if ultimately the place you want it to end up is a fairly long piece of garland. Working in 3 to 4 foot sections is a good idea. And so wherever you want to end up, so let's say this is going to be the end where I have my fingers here. You want your greens to overlap that end, so this mechanic of the blue twine is never going to show. That's like our secret of how we're putting it together, but no one would ever see that. And I'm just hooking that here in my bench. I have a little hole between the planks there, and I'm going to hook it there. But if you're working on a table, you can always use tape to go ahead and secure your string there as you work. So in this case, I'm going to do a mixed garland, and so I'm just taking some lemon leaf or salal for the back, the very back. I'm kind of working from largest to smallest, and then I'm going to put some leather leaf on top of that. I'm taking off these small pieces that would be where my hand is here. This is almost, when we design in our hand, when we design a bouquet, this is where the vase would be, and you wouldn't want any plant material there in your vase. And when we're going to attach it to that string, we don't want any plant material here where our point of attachment is going to be. So I'm going to keep that clean. And so if my greens are coming down into where my hand is here, I'm going to go ahead and pull them off and set them aside. And one of the things that you can do with what I'm showing you, a miniature version of this is a flower crown. And so if you can make a garland, you can make a flower crown, and vice versa. And so you might want to keep these little pieces. I realize you may not have these same greens at home. You probably don't, unless you happen to have a eucalyptus tree around. But I thought the good thing about this project while we're all at home is that really you can use anything. You can use any greens that are pliable enough. And if ultimately your garland doesn't need to bend anywhere, like if you're going to, let's say, hang it on a gate, or you're going to hang it over your doorway into your house and it doesn't need to have a curve to it, you could even be using oak branches, like the smaller oak branches. You can use any leafy branch that you can find. And so in this case, I'm doing a mix. So I went ahead and put in so far my lemon leaf. I put in this grevillea, and then I am going to go ahead and put the seeded eucalyptus on top. Now most of our requests these days are for full seeded eucalyptus or eucalyptus garlands. That's been very trendy. Flower trends are just like fashion trends in that what people want is going to come and go, and eucalyptus has been extremely popular this year. When I get to this point, you can see I have all these uneven ends, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those with my pruners just at a reasonable length, and they're all the same length. And then I'm using something called bind wire. But again, if you're at home, you just have to figure out, what do you have? Do you have twist ties from bread bags? Do you have zip ties in the garage? Anything that would work to bind this together. That's what we're trying to do. And what my students do now when we're making long garlands is that they will make a bunch of little bouquets like this, and they try to make them very uniform in size. So they know, for example, they're going to use 2 stems of lemon, 1/2 stem of grevillea, 1 stem of leather leaf, and 1 stem that they'll break apart of the eucalyptus. And so they're trying to make all of these about the same size and the same volume as they go along. And then when we go to put this on our backbone of our string here, it's going to look about the same as we go along. So here's my last one that I did. I'm going to overlap that because I don't want any of those stems to show from the previous one. And then I'm just going to take my wire or zip tie or whatever you end up using, and however you can do it, you just want to secure this to your backbone that you have here. The beauty of this kind of wire, this is called bind wire, and it's a floral product that is a wire that is covered with paper. And the beauty of this one is that it's green. And so if you can get something green or brown, it's just less camouflage that you have to do later. So that's where we are so far. And I'm going to go ahead and keep building. And then I'll post a picture on Facebook and in Google Classroom of the end product when I'm all finished. Thanks for joining me today.